Howdy, chat room. Looks like this mic is still going, so that's good. Just gonna unclip it. We are coming into round 6 now. This is going to be the last Swiss round. I've rejigged the camera setup, so now it should be stable. And hopefully we can leave this running for today and probably tomorrow. So this is the top table. We have one 15-point team, so 5-0 going into this round. We then also have 4 teams on 12 points, and some teams on 10 points. So all to play for here. There should be a win and in for either team. Although I do believe that the team of Alex, Kieran, and the other one, who I don't have a name for, unfortunately, I believe that team is locked at 15 points. I think their breakers should hold regardless of what happens from here. But otherwise, everything looks more stable, which is good. Can you grab the name of the person playing against Basso? And then some decks. And what? Cooper. Okay.
Cooper is on Blue Moon.
Blue Moon? And which playmat is Cooper? Or which, I think that's Basso?
Cooper has
I see painted nails, so Cooper's over here.
Cooper has the companion that does not work in his deck.
Mostly Victorian teams in the top tables. Yes. It is mostly Victorian teams on the top tables, but in saying that, out of the 27 teams we had today, I believe only about 4 or 5 of them were interstate. Table 2 definitely has a Sydney team on it. It should be Juzza, Jack, and Ryan. They're a Sydney-based team. And I believe one of the Canberra teams is doing well. I'm not certain exactly when. But the field is definitely mostly Victorian. So just as a matter of that, we have a decent amount of Victorian players on the top tables. So this matchup is Cooper on the left on Blue Moon. That is revealed, I believe, a Lutri? Or is that a Luris? Some kind of companion. And on the right, Basser is on some kind of red Welder artifact deck. And has a Welder in play, a Mox Diamond and a Mox Opal, so quite a lot of mana here. Has developed a Pyrite Spellbomb, which is fine. Checking everything, and it looks good, so that's good at least. Yeah, it looks like the coverage is now a little bit cleaner. Not as much shaking. Yeah, I put a whole wooden block next to the coverage table and attached the camera arm to that. So the shaking of the feature match table should no longer be an issue, ideally. So apologies to anyone who was watching the stream earlier who had photosensitivities. I understand that it was very concerning, I guess is the word, or difficult, but for now it appears to be solid and stable. We'll use this for the last round of Swiss as well as top four, and I'll make sure that setup is clean and ready to go for tomorrow as well. Let's adjust the camera a bit. Oh boy. Capturing the cardboard boxes. Okay. That's fine. Mm. Sorry, as part of the rejig, I lost the tripod that we were originally using. Although I can set that back up. I'll review that. But back to the game, it looks like there are a bunch of Saga tokens in play, a Grindstone. The Blue Moon player has played a couple of counter spells, done a couple of things, but is definitely far behind. YouTube replay is able to be generated? Yeah, absolutely. So what I'll do is I'll take the Twitch VOD, I'll send it to my editor. She's going to break it up into separate videos for each of the matches, as well as maybe a highlight video if possible. But today and tomorrow will be uploaded to YouTube in some form. Okay. I'm gonna let the video play out for the match, and just while I'm doing that, I might fix up. Yeah, I'll fix this up a bit. I will be right back. There we go. That should be much better. So transmute artifact, put on the stack. There's a painter servant and a grindstone in play. I imagine transmute is going to get some way to generate mana, and put Cooper's deck in the graveyard here. Yeah, I might put a couple of warning labels on. All right, so Painter Stone gets there, and Nathan's going to go up a game here. We'll let the players sideboard. I'll probably put some kind of post in Discord there, Kat, to get feedback. For the most part, I know how today has been going. The hardware has been a bit bare bones, and the streaming side of things is we've been kind of winging it a little bit, but at the same time, the tournament itself is running pretty well. I think the content being presented has been quite good, so hopefully everyone appreciates that. We've had interviews, which is good. We're definitely going to have some more over the course of the next couple rounds, and at the very minimum, we're bringing the actual coverage of the event to you. Which has been the main priority. We want people to be able to watch Highlander because it's a really cool format. All right. While the players are sideboarding, I'm just gonna go fix the cables and get the match scores. Yeah, I'll be right back. Oh, actually, Alex here. Okay, Bass up again. Can you take the cables out of frame?
Cables. Okay. Yes, I'll sort that out.
And we've just heard reports that Richard is up a game. So Batter on the right has won his game one. And the middle seat, Richard, has also won his game one. So the team on the right up 2-0 at the moment. And again, this is a functional win and in. If the team on the right wins, they should lock up a spot in top 4. If the team on the left wins, they will be top seed at 18 points. And if they lose, they should still be making it into top 4, sorry. So it should be a win and in for the team on the right, and the team on the left should be a lock regardless. While the players are shuffling up for game 2 on coverage here, I'll do another ad read. So today's event is being held at Plenty of Games. This is one of the best LGSs in Melbourne. If you're based in Victoria, I highly recommend checking them out. They're running today's event and tomorrow's event, and without them, coverage for these events and the events themselves wouldn't have been possible. So huge shout out to Plenty of Games. Additionally, this content is being brought to you by myself. And I do want to shout out my Patreon supporters and my donors who also make bringing any of this possible to you. But it looks like we're going into game 2 here. So we'll get back to the match and see what's happening. So Island go. Being met by Bloodstain Maya go. Cooper's playing another island and passing. So slow start here for the match. Nothing too crazy. Nathan having a significantly less explosive turn 1 than in game 1. And Cooper here developing their mana, making sure that they have the access to counter magic, and presumably setting up for a potent turn 3 play like a Blood Moon or a Harbinger. Nathan surveilling on top and drawing an island. Mox Diamond discarding an island and a Minimo. So not too much respect for Blood Moon here. Not keeping the island in hand. It's possible he has another island. And it looks like he's put a Trinket Mage into play. Now this gets any 1 or less cost artifact. And notably, it has a different restriction to Urza Saga, where it just needs to be an artifact that costs 1 or less. It doesn't have to have a 1 or a 0 in it. So for example, he could get Seed of the Synod or Great Furnace. But in this instance, getting Retrofitter Foundry and passing, Cooper is playing, I believe that's an Energy Flux? Is that what that is? Playing a Snow Mountain and tapping out for 3. Yeah, that's definitely an Energy Flux. So every artifact is going to have an upkeep tax of 2 now. Mox Diamond can pay for half of itself, but critically, something like Retrofitter Foundry is not going to be paying for itself unless Nathan gets access to something like a Tolarian Academy. So pretty backbreaking here. Energy Flux not only resolving, but also having an immediate impact. It's possible Nathan has access to Red Elemental Blast post-board. Pretty likely that he's brought them in if they're in his sideboard. But it's really going to be a matter of where we go from here. Does have an Academy. That's huge. So Academy, tap the diamond for Retrofitter. Retrofitter is resolving. And then we're cracking him for 2 with Trinket Mage. Nothing crazy there. So Academy makes blue mana for every artifact you have, which pays for half of Energy Flux's tax. So practically speaking, Nathan can develop artifacts to the board in the face of Energy Flux. Realistically, he's going to have to be very measured in how he deploys threats from here. He has to make sure that the way he's spending mana is correct, make sure that the cards that he's putting into play are correct. And it looks like Cooper is buying Lutri and saying go. End of turn, Nathan makes a Retrofitter token. It's possible he's going to be making Retrofitter tokens to make mana with Tolarian Academy. And be willing to ship mana into this. Because Tolarian Academy plus Minimo costs a blue mana, but pays for the entire Energy Flux tax. So you spend a blue and the Minimo to untap the Academy, and the Academy pays for half of the tax the first time and half of the tax the second time. So he's going to have a land tapped and another blue mana tapped every turn, but he can just ignore Energy Flux now if he wants to. I think it's more likely that we see him spend some mana to keep the Retrofitter and the Mox Diamond. But if he keeps the 1/1, he can start cracking in. Because the Trinket Mage is a 2/2. But we definitely need more damage. Players just working out what's going on here. Yeah, so it looks like the 1/1 was fed into the Energy Flux, Academy plus the Thundering Falls, paying for the Retrofitter and the Mox Diamond here. Nathan with access to a decent amount of mana. Looks like it's City of Traders into Cast Teferi with a colorless and pull. Teferi's on the stack and it's getting forced. I think if Teferi resolved and picked up the Energy Flux, it would have been very, very significant. So in this instance, Teferi gets countered. We return to parity. Cooper still riding the Energy Flux here. And Nathan losing the 1/1 servo from Retrofitter, which will decrease the amount of mana he gets access to under Tolarian Academy. Whether he's still able and willing to ship mana into this flux every turn It's going to get a lot worse for him. So he's tapping... Okay, so this is in response to Energy Flux. He's tapping the Retrofitter with the City of Traders to make a 1/1, and then tapping Tellurian Academy for 3, and then a land for 4 to pay for Retrofitter and Mox Diamond. And with this timing, he actually gets to keep the servo. So I don't know if he's able to start generating more artifacts and getting through this Energy Flux. I think it's decently unlikely that this servo is going to stay for very long. And in this instance, I mean, he's taking a lot of game actions, but none of them have been particularly impressive. He's chipping away for 2, he's making servos and cracking them and paying for his artifacts that haven't really been doing much. And Cooper has access to a decent grip, a bunch of mana, and a loot tree that we know about. Nathan going to put a Fable on the stack, and it's going to be met by actual Cryptic Command. And Cryptic Command is going to be countered by, I think, a Spell Pierce. Which means Fable is resolving. We're getting in for 2. We're making a Goblin Shaman. And Cooper going to crack a fetch probably for a Thundering Falls here. Nathan is definitely in the driver's seat. He has by far the most permanents that matter. Energy Flux is worth 2, maybe 3 cards, I would say. But Fable is going to be worth 2 cards. The Retrofit is worth about half a card. The Mox Diamond's worth less than a card because of the Energy Flux. And Trinket Mage has kind of been okay during this period. On paper, I would say... I think this game's going to last maybe 3 or 4 more turns. We're going to see a critical mass of artifacts for this Academy, and unless Cooper can answer the Academy with, say, a Blood Moon or a Harbinger, I expect... yeah, I expect the Academy to just take over. And I've just got reports back that Brennan has also won his game 1. So the right-hand team is up 3-0 at the moment. And Nathan is looking decently good to win this game. Now, in saying that, Galvanic Discharge plus Lutri is clearing out 2 2/2s and leaving Cooper with a little bit of energy left over for the future. So he's lost his Fable token, which is relevant. But at the same time, he's going to be able to pay for some of his artifacts. He's going to be able to rip through the deck with Fable here. Okay, and again, we're tapping Academy and Thundering Falls to pay for Mox Diamond and Retrofitter. And then in first main phase, we have a Fable trigger, discarding 2 cards, so Swords to Plowshares and Mishra's Bauble. Digging for action, I would assume. Urza's Bauble, not too exciting, and a Spire of Industry. Urza's Bauble does let you make mana with Academy to pay for a Retrofitter, and then crack it before the Energy Flux trigger resolves, so he's going to be able to get a little bit out of this. Lutri cracking in. I doubt we're seeing a servo to chump block here. We might see a servo. We might see a servo to fuel Academy, but I don't think we'll see a servo to chump here. And I've just got reports that the middle seat on the right-hand side, Richard, has 1 his match. So the right-hand table is up 1-0 in the 2 matches that are still going, and has won 1 of their 3 matches. So very, very good spot. It is pretty reasonable to assume that one of the 2 players left on their team will get there, especially looking at the board state that we have, which again will put them into top 4 and likely also put the team on the left into top 4, as they're currently the only undefeated at 5-0, and so losing this one should not knock them out of top 4. What is that? A flash? Is that a flash on the stack? No. Oh no, that's the energy flux. It just looks weird under the glare. Okay. Bolting the servo. I think this is before blocks. And Nathan using the leftover mana to activate the retrofitter to untap it and then sack the servo to make a Thopter. Still has the option to block. I still believe we're inside of combat.
Alright, we've got an interesting situation. Someone has broken a glass bottle under the feature match table. So we're going to take a little pause. And they're going to have to get everyone to move while they clean that up.
I'm going to stand up.
We're going to stand up. Everyone's going to stand
Is that
up.
happening? This is still live, right?
Yes.
It's happening right now.
It's happening right now. So that's what's happening in the feature match right now. So a little,
I have to go retrieve glass.
yeah.
All right. So as Alex said, which you may have been able to hear, there's currently a pause on the feature match area as a bottle has been broken and there's glass everywhere. So we're gonna BRB with some technical difficulties. See you all soon. All right, we apologize for the technical difficulty. I am Mr. Verbal. No, we are currently in the last round of Swiss. We're in round 6 of 6. But importantly, on the feature match table, a glass bottle exploded. So we've been having technical difficulties for about 5-10 minutes while that glass gets cleaned up. But we're going to be returning to the match when it is safe for the players to do so. Oh boy. Yeah, so currently round 6 of 6 for Swiss. We have a cut to top 4 after this. I've asked the head judge if there can be a brief pause in between Swiss and top 4. We'll try to get some people on the stream. All right, it looks like we're back. There is currently a stack battle, I think. I think we're currently paying for energy flux, and Urza's baubbling in response. So in play on the left-hand side is Lutri and Energy Flux. On the right-hand side is a Mox Diamond, a Retrofitter, a Tolarian Academy, a Minimo, Fable that's about to flip, and Urza Saga went into paying. Ooh, that big thing. Probably not dangerous. And we're paying for flux. Okay. And that was all in upkeep. Now Fable is flipping. It didn't quite explode in that way, Cat. It was just a glass bottle that was dropped on the ground and shattered. So in terms of a match update, so the team on the left is 5-0. The team on the right is 4-1. So this should be a win and in for the team on the right, and this should also be a lose and in for the team on the left. The middle seat, the right-hand team has won the match already, and in seat 1 and 3, the right-hand side is up a game. The left-hand side is a Melbourne team. It's Alex, Kieran, and Cooper. And the right-hand side is Nathan Basser, Brennan, and Richard. So two Victorian-based teams. We have had a couple of interstate teams on coverage. As we've got 27 teams in the room, I think there's 5 interstate teams, not based in Victoria, but obviously plenty of Melbourneites playing today's event. All right, so Nathan has put, what is that on the stack next to Fable? Is that a Welder? Yeah, it did look like a Welder. Okay. And then there's a cryptic command in the graveyard that's being pointed at. 2 mana, what is it, a Snapcaster? What is happening? It looks like a Snapcaster, and I think Cooper's trying to work out what he can Snapcaster that does anything here. Would be my guess. So we're tapping out for Cryptic, for Bounce Draw. And then a Surveil on Nathan's side, which is keeping on top. So, look, in this game, Cooper had an energy flux on turn 3, and I think it's remarkable how well Tolarian Academy has been able to keep up. Almost like it's worth more than 1 point. Firing off a Gataxian probe to cycle. And I believe Cooper is trying to get to a stage where he has access to enough interaction in order to start closing out this game. And again, if he can find some kind of moon to interact with the Academy, I think that's going to be a big step in the right direction. Currently has a dig through time on the stack, working out how to pay for it. And this is going to look 7 cards deep, looking for anything that interacts with Academy. I think he's found a back to basics, which would be huge. And a Reb to protect it, which would be pretty big deal. Shouldn't Cryptic have been exiled already? I believe it was. It might not have been. And if that's the case, it should be fine because the Gataxian probe would be exiled. I think given the fact that the players were paused for so long, I don't blame them too much for playing a little sloppy here. It was a back to basics, okay. Yeah, if it was used to pay for the dig, the Gataxian probe that was left over in the graveyard would just be exiled, and that's fine. Unfortunately, I'm in an entirely different room and I'm not able to pause the game, but... So now Cooper has an energy flux and a back to basics. This is going to leave Bassa with nothing. I assume that was a scoop. I assume that was a scoop. Yeah, that definitely seemed like a concession. Players aren't deboarding, so nothing crazy there. We'll see if Cooper remembers to dig out the loot tree. So this puts this match at 1-1. Now, if Brennan wins his match, he is up a game. If he wins the match, then the team on the right will win the match outright, and this result will not matter. The fact that they're still playing would suggest that at the very minimum, Brennan's match on the other seat is still going. While the players are shuffling up for game 3, I just want to give a couple of quick shout outs here. So, huge shout out to Plenty of Games. They're running the events today. They're helping me run coverage, and it's a big deal that each of the staff members has been so helpful in constructing the stream and making sure everything runs. Big shout out to the judges, Jimbo and Mayor. I'm going to attempt to get some of them on coverage for interviews, but they've been running a really smooth event and it's been really clean, despite being, a messy trios event, which is such a huge deal. A massive shout out to Alec. Alec's a good friend of mine, and he reached out saying that he was kind of bored and wanted to get involved in today's event. So he's been doing some interviews, and I'm sure you've all been enjoying seeing his lovely face. And a big shout out to you. If you're watching this stream, I appreciate you. I appreciate staying in touch and keeping up with the format, whether you can play these events or not. If you're based in Melbourne and you're watching today's event, if you're free tomorrow, I would encourage coming back down to POG and playing in tomorrow's event. Obviously, if you're not able to, or if you're interstate, check out tomorrow's stream. We're going to be running it back. All of the hardware will be the same. However, I will have a better idea of where everything fits. So tomorrow's stream, at the very minimum, should be quite a bit cleaner. So fingers crossed there. But again, thank you all for joining me. And still plenty of content to come. We've got this last round that's got to clean up. I'll do some interviews, and then we've got a top 4, and then we'll do some winner interviews as well. So stay tuned, that's for sure. But otherwise, looks like game 3 is starting here. Nathan on the right will have the play, and I believe is currently mulliganing. Uncertain if Cooper has kept or if is thinking about keeping. Both players mulliganing. Okay. So both players going to 6. I would say this favors Nathan on average. A lot of Cooper's game plan on the left will be playing single card haymakers. So Blood Moon effects for Academy, Energy Flux and Null Rod presumably for the artifact package. And having fewer shots at drawing one of those is quite important. Or at the very least having fewer shots at protecting one of those, because we have seen that Nathan has quite a bit of interaction. In saying that, on the right-hand side, it is a very synergy-based deck. Welder plus artifacts, artifacts plus Academy, and having fewer resources is also a huge deal there. Looks like Cooper is snap mulliganed on the left, so Nathan's on 6 and Cooper's on 5. And a reminder that this match should be a win in him. Although in saying that, the team on the left is likely in anyway. But still, if Nathan can win this game, his team will win the match and they will make top 4. and then the team on the left will presumably also make top 4, and then there'll be 2 more 15-point or 13-point teams in the mix. So a bit of a slow start here. Nathan cracking an Urza's Bauble and playing a tapped Arena of Glory. Cooper playing Wooded Foothills and passing and leaving the card revealed that was seen with Urza's Bauble. Very polite. Nathan's follow-up is Spire into a Retrofitter. If this resolves, this is going to be big. And it is resolving. And a Welder as well. Okay. So Welder could get dazed or removed, but the fact that the Retrofitter has resolved reduces Cooper's outs to some kind of Shatter effect or some kind of Null Rod effect, because otherwise these servos are just going to take over, and it's going to be quite a big deal. Does have a daze for the Welder. Okay. Is going to lose his land drop. He does get a Surveil for his trouble, so he gets to fetch, Surveil, and then pick up the Surveil land with daze. If he then follows up by replaying the Surveil, quite a lot of looks at the top cards, trying to find, a Null Rod or an Energy Flux, in saying that mana development is being stifled here, because obviously losing the first land drop on the draw is going to be a pretty big deal. Bind a Flooded Strand, so definitely looking for action. It's a question of if we redeploy Flooded Strand for a different land. It sounds like time in the round has been called. Okay. I imagine these players will have a very healthy time extension, so no concerns there. Nathan playing Pirate Spellbomb and cracking it to draw a card and missing land drop. So Nathan's hand is all spells. Cooper here is fetching a mountain with, I think, a Prismatic Vista by the looks of it. We know that he has a Thundering Falls and at least one island. Presumably hoping to play a potent 2 or 3 drop. Looks like gonna have to be a 3 drop. Bins another fetch land with Thundering Falls, so massively flooded out here. Nathan playing Seat and jamming Trinket Mage. Has Retrofitter in play. Can get Mopal, because Mopal Retrofitter Seat of the Synod will give him Metalcraft. Could get Grindstone. Could get Great Furnace. Could get Engineered Explosives. I believe that's a Great Furnace. Very hard to tell. Might be something else entirely. And Cooper going to spend turn 3 buying Lutri. I believe he had something like a Blood Moon. And Nathan going to play what is almost only Great Furnace and jamming a One Ring, which is resolving. So, massively ahead. However, it really depends on how much extra time these players got. I imagine it was at least 10 minutes. And Nathan is, attempting to speed up the pace of play because he wants to win this game. My guess would be that the other match ended in Brennan losing, making this a tiebreaker. Ponder, Shuffle, Go. Nathan going to activate the One Ring for 2. Digging towards something. Brothers War Great Furnace. There you go. Yeah, Engineered Explosives is a sweet card. It doesn't see enough play in Highlander, but it's also pretty aggressively medium in this format. What is that, an Imperial Recruiter? Okay. We're going to get, presumably, Monastery Mentor. Oh, Nathan is going to try and end this game. I can respect that. I mean, he is on a timer. He does need to actually end this game. I don't know how much extra time they have, but they're probably running low. Is this Tolley? No. No, this is Cooper and Nathan Basso. Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean is this Tolley? Is this a joke? Or I don't think Tolley's here. I haven't seen him. Okay. Alright. Just making sure. Yeah, Imp Recruiter for Monastery Mentor is pretty on brand. Cooper playing 5th land and saying go. Nathan gonna make a servo, trying to speed up his clock. Braz and Burrow are gonna check the ring. Notably not gonna be able to block any of these creatures, although it is only for 4. Nathan does have Arena of Glory, so he can give Monastery Mentor haste if he wants to. And if he does give it haste, and he has some spells that he can use for prowess, could be representing a lot of damage here. I think it's more likely we'll see either Mentor or One Ring get played, a bit of chip damage, maybe Brazen Borrower comes down. What does that say? Time? Okay, so that's time in the round. So this is turn 0. This is going to be close. I don't know if he has enough damage. Mentor is on the stack. Mentor is resolving. Mox Diamond will trigger Mentor. Notably did not activate Arena to give Mentor haste. And that's possibly just because Lutri can chump block the Mentor. Diamond getting paid for. It gets in for 4. I don't think Lutri is getting played here. I think Brazenborough is getting played. I'm going to try and race. But then Cooper just loses to a Thopter token. So this is turn 1 by the looks of it. I think Mentor is going to get there. It might be turn 2, it might be turn 4, but Brotherhood's End. I imagine this is choosing creatures. Holy. Well, that's why the Brazenborough didn't get cast. Is this resolving? I can't imagine Nathan can present lethal if this is resolving. Has, what is that, a Spell Pierce? He might have enough spells to grow the Mentor out of range. It might just be a knowledge check. And is casting Plow. He's going to keep the Mentor. Plow gains him a bit of life. And Mentor's going to be on 4. He won't have many resources to follow up this Brotherhood's End, but it's definitely not 0. He's going to gain life, which should lock Cooper out of any plans of winning with combat. Cooper just going to go for time here. And has a bolt for the mentor. Is that resolving? I imagine it is. And Nathan has nothing. Going into turn 2, Nathan needs to do about 12 damage at a guess. Has an Arena of Glory, so might be able to... Oh, 4 Theolingus for 3? Opting not to lose to Daze. It's resolving. Gets in for 6. Might be lethal on turn 4. Might be lethal on turn 4. So we know Cooper has the ability to make at least one blocker, because he picked up Lutri. Brazenburrow is not going to be a blocker. I imagine this is Tamio. Yep, I got a Tamio in play. With 3 4th tokens. I don't know what Cooper's life total is, but this has got to be very close. He got attacked for 3 and 4 and 2 a bunch of times. Urza Saga shouldn't mean anything. Unfortunately, can't give a Saga token haste, even if you could make one. Has a 1 ring, which should ultimately be meaningless here. Unless he's trying to draw into some kind of creature. Looks like we're exerting Arena and giving... I don't even know what that is. We're giving something haste. I don't know what that creature is. Is that like a Gleaming Drake? Is that the blue-red guy? And I think that's it. I think he got there. I think he pushed lethal through. I'm almost certain he pushed lethal through. And if he did, that means Nathan wins the match instead of timing out and wins his team the winning in for top 4. I will go confirm. I'll see if... I imagine that got there. Alright, gang. I will be right back. I'm going to check in on the match as well as the tournament and see how everything's going. So we will be with you momentarily. Hi everyone, Volty here. Today's video was brought to you with the lovely help of my patrons and donors who you can see up here on screen. If you would like to financially support the content, there's links down below, and you can make sure that if you're able to and you want to help support the channel, that you can do so. You'll also get your name visible up here on screen as well, which is very cool. If you are watching this on YouTube, please consider subscribing. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps out the channel a ton. And if you're watching this on Twitch, please consider clicking that follow button as well. The bell will let you be notified of when streams are going live, but otherwise that's it from me. I'll catch you all next time.